Hello, beloved soul. Welcome back to the Light and Shadow podcast. Whether this is your first time here, or you have been walking this path with me for a while, know that your arrival is not an accident. You were guided here, in perfect timing. I'm Grey, Reiki Master, Seer, and Soul Alchemist, and this is your sacred space to remember that you are not here to control life, but to collaborate with it. Before we begin, a gentle reminder. This podcast is a spiritual companion, not a substitute for therapy. If you're walking through your own season of release or rebirth, you will find deeper support through the link below. One-on-one intuitive coaching for deep soul transformation, and the Grey Ethereus Academy, my mystery school for initiates ready to master the art of spiritual embodiment and shadow alchemy, and for daily teachings, rituals, and reminders that you are guided. Join me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus. Now, take a deep breath. Unclench your jaw. Feel your shoulders drop. You don't have to hold everything right now. You can let go, just for this moment. Because today's transmission is an invitation to remember the sacred art of surrender. Not as defeat, not as weakness, but as the highest form of trust. We will explore the illusion of control and why it exhausts the soul, the fear that hides beneath control, what surrender really means and what it is not, how to flow from divine timing instead of forcing outcomes, and practices to soften into trust when everything in you wants to grip tighter. Because the truth is, the more you trust life, the more life can trust you. Take one more breath. Exhale fully. And let's begin. Control is one of the oldest illusions the ego clings to. It gives us a sense of safety, certainty, and stability in a world that feels unpredictable. From childhood, we are taught that if we just try harder, if we plan well enough, think long enough, stay vigilant enough, we can prevent pain, avoid loss, and make everything turn out the way we want. But beneath that belief is exhaustion, because control is not safety. It is tension dressed as power. When you live from control, you are constantly in a low-grade state of fight or flight. You grip, you anticipate, you rehearse, you push. You spend more energy managing outcomes than actually living them. And the truth is, control is often the nervous system's attempt to protect you from chaos, from heartbreak, from the unknown. It's a survival response wearing the mask of leadership. But life, true life, cannot be controlled. It can be collaborated with. Just like the ocean, it cannot be contained, only navigated. And when you try to control the waves, you miss the current that was meant to carry you exactly where you're meant to go. Surrender is not the opposite of strength. It is the upgrade of strength into wisdom. Because when you surrender, you stop forcing and start flowing. You stop micromanaging every timeline and start allowing divine timing to reveal itself. You stop trying to hold the entire universe in your hands and let it hold you instead. This is the beginning of alchemy, turning fear into faith and control into collaboration. Every impulse to control is rooted in fear. Not the loud kind that screams and cries, but the quiet kind that whispers beneath your skin. What if I lose again? What if I'm not enough? What if no one catches me if I fall? Control is the armor we wear when life once felt unsafe. It's how the body tries to prevent the replay of an old wound. Somewhere in your past, chaos may have come without warning, a betrayal, a loss, a sudden shift that shattered your sense of ground. And so, your mind made a silent vow. If I can just manage everything perfectly, I'll never feel that pain again. But fear disguised as control becomes its own kind of prison. It doesn't prevent pain, it just prevents peace. You start to overplan every possibility. You hold your breath waiting for the other shoe to drop. You become addicted to predictability, mistaking it for safety. The truth is, control is not safety. Safety is the ability to trust yourself even when the outcome is unknown. And fear begins to dissolve not when life becomes certain, but when you remember that you have the inner capacity to meet life as it comes. Surrender, then, is not abandoning responsibility. It's releasing the illusion that you can or should carry it all alone. It's saying to the universe, I trust myself enough to stop fighting what is. Because when you meet your fear with compassion instead of control, you don't collapse into helplessness. You rise into presence. And from presence, you can finally see that the things you tried so hard to control were never meant to be controlled, only experienced, learned from, and eventually released. Surrender is one of the most misunderstood words in the spiritual path. It's often mistaken for giving up, detaching completely, or letting go in a way that feels passive or powerless. But true surrender is not collapse. It is conscious cooperation with life. It is not the abandonment of action. It is the alignment of action with flow. It's saying, I no longer need to control every detail because I trust the intelligence that moves through me. You still move. You still choose. But your movement is no longer frantic. It is intuitive. Your choices no longer come from fear. They arise from faith. Surrender is not indifference. It is intimacy with the moment. It's leaning so close to what is that you stop fighting the current and start listening to it. The mind thinks surrender means loss of power. The soul knows surrender is power because it requires radical trust in the unseen. When you truly surrender, you stop bargaining with life. You stop saying, I will be at peace when it all makes sense. Instead, you whisper, even now, I choose peace. That shift changes everything because control drains your energy, but surrender replenishes it. Control closes your heart, but surrender opens it. Control resists timing, but surrender flows from divine order. So let's be clear. Surrender does not mean abandoning boundaries, tolerating what harms you, and avoiding responsibility. It does mean releasing attachment to outcomes, trusting the wisdom of delay, detour, and divine redirection, and allowing yourself to rest in the rhythm of what's unfolding without demanding it to be something else. Surrender is not the end of your power. It is the beginning of your partnership with the divine. Trust is the sacred frequency that makes surrender possible. Without trust, surrender feels like free fall. With trust, surrender feels like flight. When we speak of divine timing, we often imagine some distant cosmic schedule, a mysterious plan written in the stars that we must wait to be revealed. But divine timing is not external, it is energetic. It is the alignment between your readiness and the reality's rhythm. There are seasons where life speeds up and everything blooms, and others where the soil of your becoming needs to lie fallow, quiet, hidden, gestating. Both are sacred, both are divine. The mind resists this. It wants results, not ripening. It wants proof, not patience. But what your soul understands is that the timing you call delay is often divine protection or preparation. When you force what is not ready, you create friction. When you trust what's unfolding, you create flow. Every moment you practice trust, you rewire your energetic field. You shift from scarcity, what if it never happens, to sufficiency. What is meant for me cannot miss me. Trust does not mean waiting passively. It means staying open, receptive, alert to the subtle invitations life is offering you right now. It means listening for the yes that feels grounded and the no that keeps you aligned with your higher path. You will know you're living in trust when you no longer panic in the pause, when you can hold both longing and peace in the same breath, and when you stop demanding clarity before you move, and instead, you move with the clarity of your current step. Divine timing is not about delay. It is about readiness. It is the universe syncing its rhythm with your capacity to receive. And when you stop rushing the process, you begin to feel a gentle hum of grace moving through it all. That hum, that quiet, sacred pulse, is a signature of surrender in motion. Surrender, at its essence, is not a one-time awakening. It is a daily devotion, a way of living that transforms every ordinary moment into a sacred dialogue with life. The practice of law begins in small, simple acts. It's not just found in meditation or rituals. It is in how you breathe through traffic, how you respond when plans change, how you meet discomfort without collapsing into resistance. Each time you release the impulse to force, to fix, or figure it all out, you strengthen the muscle of surrender. You teach your body that safety doesn't come from control. It comes from trust. Try this. When something unexpected happens, instead of saying, "This shouldn't be happening," ask, "What if this is happening for me?" That single reframe shifts your energy from contraction to curiosity, and curiosity is one of the purest states of law. Flow doesn't mean you never take action. It means your action is attuned, guided by alignment, not anxiety. You begin to move with the rhythm of life rather than against it. And in that cooperation, you find effortlessness, a grace that cannot be manufactured. Here are gentle ways to live the practice of surrender each day. Begin each day with a hand on your heart. Whisper, "I release control. I trust what is meant for me will find me." When you feel yourself tightening, pause, breathe, ask, "What am I trying to control right now? And can I soften my grip?" Instead of forcing an outcome, take one initiative step, then wait for the next aligned cue. Flow is felt, not planned. Before bed, give thanks for what unfolded and for what didn't. Both are part of your unfolding. Remember, control contracts your energy, but surrender expands it. When you live in flow, you realize life isn't happening to you, it is happening through you. Surrender is not about doing less, it is about doing what is aligned. It is about trusting that the current carrying you knows exactly where you are meant to go. And when you begin to live like that, open, trusting, attuned, miracles no longer feel like accidents. They feel like the natural rhythm of a soul that finally stopped resisting its own becoming. A few years ago, I worked with a brilliant artist, deeply intuitive, but utterly exhausted. She came to me because despite her spiritual practice, she felt stuck. Nothing was moving. Every door she tried to open, career, love, healing, seemed to slam shut. When we began working together, I asked her to describe what trusting the process felt like in her body. She paused for a long moment and said, "It feels like doing nothing, and doing nothing feels unsafe." That was the root of it. Like many of us, her nervous system equated control with safety. As a child, she learned that if she didn't stay alert, manage everyone's emotions, and plan every outcome, chaos would follow. So even as an adult, her energy was in constant vigilance. Even her manifesting was laced with tension. Through Reiki and breathwork, we began to retrain her body to experience stillness not as danger, but as space. I asked her to practice one simple act. Every time she felt the urge to push, she would pause, breathe, and say aloud, "I trust that what's mine will meet me in perfect time." At first, her mind rebelled. She felt lazy, unproductive, afraid of missing opportunities. But slowly, something began to shift. She stopped chasing projects that drained her. She began painting again, not for approval, but for devotion. And one evening, she received an email from a gallery she hadn't even applied to. They had found her work online and wanted to feature her in a collective exhibit. That was her first visceral experience of law, when what was meant for her arrived effortlessly, not because she forced it, but because she stopped blocking it with fear. A few months later, She said to me during a coaching session, I didn't need to make life happen. I just needed to stop standing in its way. That, beloved, is the essence of surrender. It is not the art of waiting. It is the art of allowing. And in that allowing, grace always finds you. Surrender is not an idea to think about. It is a frequency to embody. It's something you practice until your nervous system recognizes it as safety, not loss. This ritual is designed to help you release the weight of control and return to the rhythm of trust. Step 1. Light a candle. You don't need the perfect setting. Just a few deep breaths, a quiet moment, and willingness. Step 2. Place one hand over your heart, one over your belly. Inhale slowly through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale through the mouth for 4. With each exhale, whisper to yourself, I release the need to control what is already unfolding. Repeat until you feel your shoulders lower, your chest loosen, your breath deepen. This is the moment the body begins to trust again. Step 3. Take a piece of paper and write down what you have been gripping. The outcomes, timelines, relationships, or answers you have been trying to force. Be honest. Then, beneath each one, write, I release this into divine timing. I trust that what is meant for me cannot miss me. Fold the paper towards you and place it under your candle. And whisper this. May I trust the current that carries me. May I move in harmony with what life is becoming through me. Step 4. Now rise. Move your body intuitively. Let your movements mirror the feeling of being carried, supported, free. This is how energy integrates, not just in the mind, but also in the flesh. With each breath, feel the invisible river of life moving through you. It doesn't need your control. It needs your cooperation. Step 5. When you're ready, place both hands over your heart and speak aloud. I surrender my timeline to divine wisdom. I trust the rhythm of my unfolding. I am carried. I am guided. I am free. Then breathe. Feel the peace that rises when you finally stop fighting the current. This ritual can be done anytime you feel yourself tightening, overthinking, or grasping for certainty. Over time, it becomes your anchor. Beautiful soul, take a deep breath. You've just walked through one of the most sacred teachings in the spiritual path, the art of surrender. Surrender isn't weakness, it is wisdom. It's the moment your soul whispers, I no longer need to fight life to feel safe within it. This practice isn't about giving up. It is about giving over to divine timing, to alignment, to the current that already knows where you are meant to go. When you release control, you make space for grace. When you stop forcing, you start flowing. And when you finally trust the unfolding, you realize life was never against you. It was always waiting for you to soften enough to receive it. Remember this. Every no is protection. Every delay is calibration. Every ending is redirection. Surrender is the bridge between the life you are surviving and the one your soul came here to live. So as you move through your week, practice letting go of one small thing, a plan, a judgment, an expectation, and watch what happens when you trust the rhythm of your becoming. If this episode stirred something deep in you, I invite you to continue walking this path with me. Join the Grey Ethereus Academy, my mystery school for shadow alchemy, energetic mastery, and soul remembrance. Work with me one-on-one through intuitive coaching or Reiki-infused candles rituals designed to help you embody your light with grounded power. And for daily guidance and transmissions, come find me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus, where the teachings continue every day. All link is in the description box below. Your next step will find you when you're ready. And next time on the Light and Shadow podcast, we enter the art of divine detachment. Loving without losing yourself. How to stay open-hearted without absorbing others' pain, and how to hold space for love and loss without collapsing into control or codependence. And the difference between connection and enmeshment. For now, breathe deep, trust the timing, and remember, the magic is already within you. You are more powerful than you know. Until next time.